Yo, what is up guys, Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. Just a quick video about Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder and the potential fight at hand. Now, I have to say, this is a fight that I really do want to see happen. Do I have much faith in this fight happening? Not particularly. When it comes to the heavyweight division, I don't think we can really count on the fights getting made that we want to see. However, there's a lot of talk about this fight once again, and to me, it makes sense for both combatants, considering where they are in their careers. It's a mega fight, it's a monster fight, and the winner of this fight gets put in a good standing once again outside the champions. I believe that the winner of this fight becomes the real #1 contender. I don't care what sanctioning bodies say, to be honest. I believe the winner of this fight will cement themselves as the best of the rest. But again, I am still skeptical whether this fight happens, but let's assume it does. Let's assume this fight is next. First and foremost, I'd like to ask you guys the question, who do you make as a favourite? Would you be going for Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder? And tell me why in the comments. Now this video isn't really for Anthony Joshua groupies. Any critical word on Anthony Joshua is met by, you know, just fanboy nonsense. You're a hater, you're this, you're that, you're the other. Sick of hearing from his deluded fan base, quite frankly. So if you're one of those individuals, don't comment on this video, it's that simple. And it's kind of funny, right? You'll be critical of Anthony Joshua, or someone like me will be critical of Anthony Joshua. You'll get all of these fanboy comments, but when I keep the same energy, as the kids say, for someone like Filip Pergovic, crickets, but it's an agenda against Anthony Joshua. No other heavyweight in the division gets criticism apart from Anthony Joshua, according to Joshua fanboys. But I digress. If this fight were to happen next, I would make Deontay Wilder a relatively significant favourite going into this bout. Now, of course, I can see the case for Anthony Joshua winning this fight. He's a big guy, he's athletic, he can punch hard, he's got good pedigree, experience, and yeah, technically, he does a lot better than Deontay Wilder in many areas. He's got better feet, he's got a better jab. Overall, when you consider every punch, he's got better all-round punch technique, maybe aside from the straight right hands. He's got better combinations, he's better up close. Joshua technically should win this fight, in my opinion. But the million-dollar question is, does he have the mental capacity right now? Does he have the confidence to put that together, to follow a game plan, to defeat Deontay Wilder, to nullify Deontay Wilder, to actually force the issue against Deontay Wilder, push him back, smother the space, work him up close, and basically dominate him and render him useless. If you push Deontay Wilder back, as we know from the Tyson Fury fights, he becomes a lot less effective. Yes, he can still fire that right hand. If you get caught slipping, like Fury did in the third fight and got dropped, yes, he can still fire that right hand and catch you. But we know the method to beat Deontay Wilder now. Force him back, you know, pressure him. Don't give him time to think or space to throw that right hand. Force him on the back foot. Stay close to him. That's how you beat Deontay Wilder. And listen, Joshua has the physical assets to do it. He does. He can shorten his punches up quite well at mid-range, and even on the inside. He's not a great inside fighter, Joshua, but he's certainly more capable on the inside than Deontay Wilder. And that's really all he needs. But the issue is, again, does he have the confidence to put it all together on fight night, to follow that game plan, to follow that obvious game plan? Does he have the confidence to pull that out? Because as of right now, for me, Anthony Joshua still looks like a guy who is second-guessing himself, kind of adjusting to a new style, a boxer type of style, where he's being cautious of what's coming back. But for my money, you know, boxing is like a poker game sometimes. You can't give your opponents a tell or a read on you. And to me, it's blatantly apparent that Joshua is thinking about what is coming back, to the point to where he looks apprehensive. And I think most people can see that, if they're being honest. There's a lot of people who are coming up with 1,000,001 different reasons for why he's looking like that. I think the reason is apparently obvious. I purely believe it's a confidence issue. I don't think he ever got over the humiliation of getting stopped by Andy Ruiz in New York City in 2019. I don't believe he's ever truly gotten over that. Physically, he's the same guy, but mentally he's not. And you know, Joshua fans, and when I say fans, I mean fanboys, they will try to paint this scenario like Joshua's just trying to improve technically. He wants to be more cautious of what's coming back to get better as a boxer. I don't believe that's his main motivation for fighting like that. I believe there is an element of fear that he's going to get knocked out again. I truly believe he's still carrying the trauma from the Andy Ruiz fight, because where was this in the Dillian Whyte fight where he got badly buzzed in the second round? Or the Klitschko fight where he got badly dropped and badly hurt, looked like he was out on his feet. He soldiered back, he fought through it, and got the job done. Showed great heart, great determination. But since the Andy Ruiz fight, to me, it feels like that fire's gone. It feels like he's constantly questioning his toughness, his durability, and his chin. And as a result, we've seen Joshua be apprehensive post-Ruiz. I mean, he had the Michelin Man in front of him in the Ruiz rematch, a guy who was basically morbidly obese. Let's be honest. And look at how Joshua fought. He had a fat man in front of him who could barely get out of his own way. He could barely shift his own weight. And he fought like a pussycat in that fight. People over here called it a boxing masterclass. I saw that performance reeked of fear for me. It reeked of fear. And I saw signs in the Pulev fight where I got fucking so much criticism for pointing certain things out about Joshua's performance. Yes, he dominated. Yes, he won every round. Cool. But it's about the subtle little things. Sometimes when Pulev would throw a punch, Joshua would close his eyes as the punch was coming. And Pulev barely threw a punch in that fight. He barely threw a right hand. There were times when Joshua was turning away from the shot. Not turning with the shot, turning away. This strikes me as a guy who is scared to get a good punch in the mouth. Then we had the bizarre performance in the first Usyk fight, trying to box with Usyk, trying to match his movement, trying to match his rhythm. Bizarre game plan, in my opinion. I thought we was at a turning point in the Usyk rematch. I actually gave Joshua a lot more credit than most did. I thought Joshua fought a pretty good fight in that one. Tried to get more aggressive as the fight played out. Gave Usyk a few uncomfortable moments. And yes, it was a loss. Yes, we saw that meltdown at the end of a fight, but I felt it was something Joshua could build on, to be honest. But after that fight, we've had the Jermaine Franklin performance, which I wasn't particularly impressed with. Joshua never seemed keen to go through the gears against a guy who couldn't punch, who was a lot smaller, who, you know, wasn't in the greatest of shape. And now we've just had the Robert Helenius fight, a guy who literally came out of retirement. After the Wilder fight, he said he was going to retire. Then he comes in on a week's notice, shot to bits, 40 years old, being knocked out for fun. But Joshua treated him like he was a prime Vitaly Klitschko. Yes, he got a good stoppage in the end, but there were so many concerning aspects to that performance. Obviously, the defensive deficiencies, being unable to really ever take away Robert Helenius' jab. Just a quick jab, sometimes from the hip. It wasn't a power jab, it was just a quick jab, a quick little snapping jab. And I never saw Joshua once adjust and take that away. Head was always on centre line. Imagine that's Deontay Wilder. Helenius was able to measure the distance really easily against Joshua. For some reason, he never threw his right hand to the head. He threw it to the body on a number of occasions, but he never threw it to the head. Imagine that's Deontay Wilder in front of Anthony Joshua, who's able to gauge the distance that easily, with Joshua being standoffish. I believe that's going to end badly for Joshua. I really do. I was concerned with the amount of times the shots were there for Joshua and he wouldn't follow in to take them. Where, you know, the amount of times Helenius kind of put himself against the ropes leaning back, all it took really was a double jab step in right hand, and he would have knocked out Helenius a lot earlier than he did. He could have repeated the combination he used to knock out Helenius a lot earlier. But really, it was only when Helenius was completely gassed, when Joshua finally put his foot on the accelerator and got him out of there. And yeah, you could say that's smart, but in reality, you're just giving the guy more time to maybe land a perfect shot. And as we know, Deontay Wilder only needs one. And I believe if Joshua fights in the same apprehensive manner that he did against Helenius, against Wilder, then he will get knocked out. More than likely, it's very likely he'll get knocked out, and maybe even quick. So overall, I see it as a fight where Deontay Wilder goes in as favourite, and gun to my head right now, I would pick Wilder by knockout. Maybe I changed my mind nearer the time, because it's a weird one. I believe Joshua has the better technical skills. You know, he's got a better punch variety, he does have better footwork, I think he's got a better jab. I think he does a lot better than Deontay Wilder technically. But boxing is not just about technical skills and things of that nature. Sometimes it's a lot more than that. It's a lot deeper. Sometimes it's simple. Who's willing to throw first? Who's willing to let their nuts hang in a dangerous environment, in a dangerous fight, where either guy can get knocked out, where both guys have power, where both guys are seen as vulnerable? Who's got the balls to pull that trigger first? Because this fight could literally come down to that. It could be an old-fashioned shootout, gunslinger style. But for right now, or as of right now, it feels like Joshua's trigger's jammed. Wilder's gonna fire, and I believe he'll knock out Anthony Joshua as it stands right now. Joshua needs to get out of his own head and ultimately maximise his best weapons, his best attributes. Right now, I don't believe he's doing that. I believe Anthony Joshua should be a destroyer, a come-forward boxer-puncher who, yes, has vulnerabilities. We saw that on the come-up with Dillian White, etc. Klitschko. Yes, he's got vulnerabilities, but he's a lot more effective when he fights in that manner. I keep on hearing from Joshua fans, oh, he's making improvements, making improvements. Where are the improvements? Is he performing better than he did then? That's what you're saying. I don't see the improvements. I see him trying to implement new things, but I don't think they're working. Hence, they're not improvements. Just because you're trying new things doesn't mean you're improving. I mean, it can make you worse. I believe Joshua is worse now than he was then. A lot worse, in fact. If you could get like a simulation and have pre-Ruiz Joshua fight this version of Joshua, pre-Ruiz AJ goes through this version like a doorway, like a hot knife through butter. And I think that's the sort of energy he needs to fight Deontay Wilder with. And if he does, I believe he's got a great chance of winning that fight. I really do. But he needs to get out of his feelings, get out of his own head, stop complaining about radio stations and people criticising you, grow up, get on with it. It's literally just that. I don't want to hear a multi-millionaire complaining about how people criticise him. Don't want to hear it, how hard done by you are. AJ is super privileged. Super privileged. Yes, he's worked hard, but to a certain degree, he has been placed here by the establishment. Let's be real about it. He never won that gold medal. He never won that gold medal. He had a lot of help on the way up. A lot of help. He should be very grateful for where he's at. Yes, he's worked hard, I get it. But he's had some external factors helping him out as well. Stop this victimhood bullshit. Oh, I get criticised by radio stations. Grow up, man. Get that dog back, get that fire back, or retire. Because you're not beating Deontay Wilder right now, boss man. It's that simple. It's that simple. Because say what you want about Deontay Wilder, but listen, he is confident to the point to where he is delusional. But listen, I think that works for him in this fight. I think it works for him. I truly believe Deontay Wilder thinks AJ's scared of him. I really do. I really do. This fight is fascinating the more I think about it. It is fascinating. Because again, I think Joshua's got all the technical ability to beat Wilder. But as of right now, I see his mindset letting him down. Even now, listen, he's got a chance to beat Wilder because Wilder himself's a bit of a glass cannon. He could still beat Wilder now if he lands the perfect shot. It could happen, but I'd make Wilder a favourite if they were to fight next. But yeah, share your thoughts below. What do you make of this potential fight? Who are you favouring and why? Share your thoughts below. Peace.